Welcome back. So, Mrs. Atoki, Consumer Rights Day is on the 15th of March. Are we doing enough? If yes, what impact has that celebration had on numerous agitations by consumers? If no, what are the windows of improvement, especially in the face of a power sector, for instance?
Let me just give you the history behind this worldwide celebration, which
in 1 minute,
which is
in 1 minute,
which has been marked as the 15th of March of every year, the day in 1962 when J.F. Kennedy first moved the issues of consumers to the Congress in America, and the first 4 rights of consumers were put before the Congress. Thereafter, it became one of the days in which, the day that has been set aside. And the reason for the commemoration is not to rejoice or to solve problems. It's for us to recognize who we are as consumers, the value that we add to economic development. A while ago, and on your program just a few minutes ago, the world was celebrating the women. Now, it's not to solve the issues of women that we have also elaborately presented on your platform, but it's to recognize the value that women is bringing in the family, in the society, and to find out how to solve the challenges of women. So for consumers, the 15th of March every year is set aside to bring again the consumers to the forefront, recognize the role they play, and for businesses to know that without the consumers, they're out of business, but primarily also to find out what are the trending issues that concerns consumer within that year, and to bring up that issue and play it up throughout the whole year. So yes, in Nigeria, we can't say that because there are quite a number of abuses which exist everywhere, and so we will not celebrate, or we will not join the world in working with the consumers for that day. We will, and there is value in it, because it helps us also to come up with, to look at what is a trending issue. And this trending issue is universally accepted. For this year, the theme is building consumer trust in the digital world. So everywhere in the world, from March 15, 2017 to March 14, 2018, the issue of digital process and the concerns of consumers arising from the use of those processes will be the forefront of what the world will be engaging in. And I think for us in Nigeria, we haven't been left behind in the use of digital process. And if we just look at where we have come from, some time ago in the 60s, for instance, you just take a telephone. It used to be the one that you ring. You have to dial those numbers in a box and hold on for a tone, and it was cumbersome. Now we look at our telephone. That was analog and mechanical. We look at the telephone now. Sometimes we don't even have to touch the phone. We just need to speak to a name, and it dials the number. So the digital has revolutionized the process of communication. We look at our watch, for instance. In those days, we have to wind them every day. Now, if you just twist your wrist, a screen flashes up on your digital watch and just tells you exactly what the time was. While previously you have to look, oh, where is the shorthand, where is the longhand? Oh, it's between this and that. So the digital process has engulfed our life. We stay in the comfort of our homes, and we can order for goods from China, or as close as in Abuja, in Wuse Market. It will be delivered to us. We don't need to queue up in the market. We don't need to queue up in the banks to transfer money. We do that through the use of digital process. And one of the digital process that still blows my mind every time is the GPS. I want to travel from Abuja to Lagos. I've never been to Lagos, for instance. I just key in the address, and before I know it, it takes me through the rivers and the mountains and all the routes, and I'm dead in Surulere, where I've kicked in. and have arrived. So digital process is something that has become part of our lifestyle in the world, and I dare say in Nigeria. So if we now want to look at the challenges that this has brought us, the World Consumer Rights Day help us now to identify what are the challenges consumers face in the use of the digital process. And then we can begin to articulate the specific solutions or general solutions or advice to consumers.
We need to
so for us in Nigeria,
let's
and for us
tie
at the Consumer Protection
there's the ability to be able to effectively use a range of online platforms for business or financial. Consumers are made to part with sensitive information which, if stolen or get into the wrong hands, well, could be detrimental to the consumers. As we wind down in the next 30 seconds possibly, what advice does the CPC have for consumers who have to fill out forms or respond to certain questions and give out information that might be dangerous if they fall into the wrong hands?
Yes, I think that we should limit information that are absolutely necessary and to avoid data theft. We should also be mindful of how we expose our gadgets to other people to steal our data. For instance, you must secure your gadgets by having a strong a password. And don't share your password with anybody. Don't believe anyone who is selling product to you that is far below. We also have to arise and make sure that we do our practices are such that does not make us vulnerable. We do not give our ATM card, for instance, to friends or families to use. We do not make our PIN codes, our sensitive numbers available. So to the extent that the digital process needs certain information, certain personal information, yes, we need to do that. But on our own side, we also need to make sure that we do our best to protect this information from being available for data theft. Those are the issues that we'll be flagging out in the 2-day program that we are having, in which the First Lady we are going to carry out the investiture of the wife of the President, Aisha Mohammed Buhari, who has agreed to be the ambassador, the consumer ambassador. Okay. The investiture will be on that day. The second day is for us to bring groups together, and there will be representative of Google and Microsoft to help to tell us what we need to do to avoid being vulnerable.
We have to go. We thank you so much, Director General Consumer Protection Council, Mrs. Dupe Atoki. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, and I wish you well as you celebrate the World Consumer Rights Day. Thank you. Sunrise will be back in a moment. Please don't go away.